Alright, due to the technical difficulties, we had to do part 2 of this video, so we get to pick up right in the intense moment real quick. So, questions. I think the question I was asking is, you said there's a window that provides it and gives it dim light, and then I asked, what race was the cultist? Is he a human, or...?
You don't know, and because you slid back behind the door, you couldn't see him when they turned around, but you definitely know he's not a human.
Okay.
He's probably not even an elf, because he was rather bulky, and tall, and the way he talked was kind of like a hissing sound when he was talking.
Okay. I gotta decide, because this is a pretty tense situation. Alright, to start, I'll go back to my cantrips, because they're pretty useful right now. I would like to slam the window shut.
Okay.
And try and close off any light that's in the room.
Alright, so the window slams shut, and as it does, it slams shut with such force that it actually breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And as it does so, the drapery around it kind of comes undone, and all three of the people in the room kind of jump at this and turn to face it.
Okay.
The cultist is the closest one to you,
Okay.
and then the dragonborn, and then your target.
Okay. Is there any light in the room, or is there light coming in from the door?
It's very dark, but there is some light. But they're standing in almost complete darkness right now, and it's like dim light through the door for about 5 foot from the hallway outside.
Okay. I would like to. Okay. I'm gonna go a little adventurous here. Do I have a line of sight on my target? Like, because I have dark vision, I can see. I know he can see. I know Dragonborns can't see, but I don't know about this cultist dude. So I know that he can see in the dark, or has black and white dark vision. Do I have a line of sight on him?
You'd have to peek out from behind the door.
Right. If I peek out behind the door.
But just generally by peeking out, you can't see him. You can see like half the Dragonborn standing off to the left of the cultist. The cultist is blocking the majority of your view, and you have to assume your target's somewhere in front of the cultist just because you can't see him.
Okay. Shit, hold on. I just dropped my d20. Dang it. Ready to go. Great.
What would you like to do?
Great audio quality as I try and find the d20 I just dropped. Oh, there it is. That's it. Okay. Alright, I would also like to move away from the door and closer to the wall, and I'd like to use like the wall opposite of them. I'll use another cantrip to really gonna mess with him here. I'll instantaneously cause the wardrobe or closet door to slam open.
Okay. Before you do that,
oh.
You're hiding on the wall that would be if you're opposite of them, because they're staring at the window, so their back's to you right now.
Okay.
And,
so I'm next to the closet door then.
okay.
If you
were to go opposite of them. You're like by the door to enter the room right now. Hide.
Right, and then so. All right, so let me read it. Let me fix what I'm doing here. I would like to go to the wall that has the side of the bathroom door, and make the closet door fly open.
Okay.
So I want to be
very good.
Yeah, I want to be on the opposite side of the distraction.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay.
Because he can also see.
Oh yeah, that's a 24, baby.
All right, so you're part of the shadows of this room. You just slink across. No one notices a thing. The door to the closet swings open violently, and like as it does, the drapes kind of blow from the door opening, and some light comes back in the room, and then they kind of close back up, and it's dark again instantly. And the Dragonborn's like, "Oh my!" and kind of stumbles towards the doorway. The cultist stumbles around with him, and then Felhart also backs away
Okay.
towards the exit of the room.
While this is happening, now do I have a direct line of sight on my target?
You can see him, yes,
Okay.
but it'd be at a disadvantage because he's still mostly behind the cultist.
Okay.
So unless you can ignore cover, you're going to have a disadvantage.
Right. I guess I'll try. Let's see what else I can do. I will use. Let's see. I'll use the create instantaneous sound that originates from the point of your choice. So I'll make it come from the closet, and I'll make it just be like I'll just make it like a soft cackling, like a
Okay.
and I guess that would be like a intimidation kind of thing, I guess.
It would be.
We're just trying to spook him.
Go ahead and roll for that.
Okay. I don't think I have that as one of my proficiencies. No, so that's a 14.
Alright, so they're all kind of creeped out at this point, like
Mhm.
everyone. And Felhart kind of shoves his way past the cultists and heads straight for the door, like just purely out of fear, like running.
With
Sort of.
with that chance, when he runs past the callus, would I be able to have a line of sight on him?
You would have a clear line of sight on him.
Okay. With that clear line of sight, I would like to take the shot.
Alright, go ahead and shoot.
Okay. Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on, dice. Come on, dice. Oh. This would be so good. Alright. No! No! That's a natural one! Of all the times! No! Damn it!
So you take you aim, you get ready, you kind of like your breath just stops at this moment as he's like clear open target. You go to fire, and you realize you loaded your bolt wrong. Nothing happens. Your string clicks forward, the bolt kind of bounced up a little bit, and no, it doesn't leave your crossbow. It doesn't. It makes a small noise, but over the cackling, they wouldn't have heard it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he escapes out of the door. The Dragonborn falls him, and the cultist falls him. And at this moment, you hear, "God damn it, Felhart, they're hitting it again!" And you hear a commotion downstairs. Some people are screaming and whatnot, and they kind of run out of the room, and they're like running. They run out, and there's like a stairway overlooking like where all the guests are at, and you don't know what's happening because you can't see it, but you can hear a commotion of some sort. What would you like to do?
Damn it. So I kind of dispel all the cantrips, all the things. The door kind of closes again, the light comes in, and fix my crossbow bolt. It's very frustrated, but calm, but frustrated. And then I would want to peek out the door and see if my target is like still in this hallway.
Alright, so you peek out the door, and you can't see anyone except for the Dragonborn, like standing at the railing, looking over, like down there, and he's just like, "Oh my!" And you can hear swords and stuff clanking at this point. So there's some sort of fighting actually going on inside the ballroom where I guess the lobby of the house this would technically be. And you can hear there's fighting, and whatever's going on, they're way more interested in that than what just happened. And you can hear people running down the stairs, so you can assume that your target is now heading downstairs.
Okay. Shit. So he kind of just curses him to like shit. So I'd like to still have his crossbow in hand, I'd like to sneak up behind the Dragonborn. And I'd like to try and knock him out with the butt of my crossbow.
Alright, nice. Go ahead and roll a stealth check first.
Okay. Okay, that's
With
better.
advantage.
With advantage? Okay. With all the commotion. 17.
Alright, so he doesn't notice anything. There's still too much commotion. As you come up, you can kind of see down there. You make a quick glance to make sure no one's looking up to swing or to see you swing at him, and you see two dwarfs fighting a just mad amount of guards. It's like 6 guards versus these two dwarfs. But you've noticed they're deflecting and landing their blows while the guards seem to be having a hard time hitting them.
Huh.
And go ahead and roll your attack
Okay.
if you want to still knock them out.
Let's see. Would that be a strength, or what would you be adding for
I
that?
want to use dexterity again.
Okay.
Because it's a sneak. Right?
That'd be a 16 to hit.
Alright. Let me look at his stats real quick. Oh yeah, you conk him on the head. And he was not aware that you were about to do that, so he goes down like a sack of potatoes. And doesn't even scream out or anything, and there's way too much commotion going downstairs for anyone to have noticed it.
Okay. Do I
Make a
see my...
perception check.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say. I'm looking for that target. Where is he? Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a 23.
So, you quickly look around the room and you notice there's two figures who aren't paying attention to what's going on. They're just running. Probably still afraid of whatever just happened upstairs in that bedroom, you can assume.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them, he's in a crowd, so it'd be very impossible to take a shot at him without hitting someone else. It would be a very tough shot, you realize. And they enter a door, and as they open the door, you notice the door immediately turns on the stairs downwards. So you can assume they're now going to the basement, because they're on the ground floor at this point, and they're going down. And the cultist turns around to close the door behind him, and you can clearly see that he is a cat person. He is a Rakashasha, or however you say it.
Oh, shit! Okay.
That is what he is. And he has closed the door, and you see him. He obviously didn't see you, because he's more worried about getting the door closed and getting down to the basement and whatnot. You hear footsteps behind you.
Okay.
What do?
I turn with the crossbow.
So you turn, and there's a human male, probably late 50s, wearing a butler's outfit, and he sees you, and you see him, and he kind of puts his hands up like, "Don't shoot me." What would you like to do? Would you like to try to intimidate him, or to persuade him to stay quiet?
I would just, I I'd like to, do some persuasion and just say, if you know what's good for you, you'd go back to your room and pretend you didn't see anything.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
With advantage, because you're pointing a gun at, or a crossbow at him.
That's 23.
He kind of looks down at the unconscious Dragonborn, then back at you, and then kind of like smiles because he realizes what you're trying to do. He realizes you're trying to kill the man he works for,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of he points at the Dragonborn, and kind of like, "I'll hide him for you." Like he is on your side now. He's scared, but he can't stand Fellheart.
Okay.
So he kind of keeps his hands up and like slumps over past you, grabs the Dragonborn, and like drags him, and then there's one of the rooms across from the bedroom.
As he goes to drag him, like as he's on his way approaching, I want to pat down the Dragonborn and try and take anything off him.
You get a small money pouch, and it has like 10 gold pieces in it.
Okay.
And that's all he had. He clearly hastily changed into that crappy robe he was complaining about earlier, and doesn't have anything of actual worth on him.
Yeah.
And as you do that, he kind of smiles. The butler does, and then grabs him by under each arm and like drags him into the room, and you hear distinctly click of the lock, and um, from what you could tell, he was definitely afraid enough to where he's probably not going to come back and deal with you
Good.
because he doesn't get paid enough for that. He doesn't like his boss, and he's just content with making sure the Dragonborn's okay.
Fantastic. Alright, with that, I would like to turn back to the fight. And I'd like to, let me look at my cantrips again, because these are really fun. I love them. Is there torches, or is there, or what's lighting the room?
There are candles in large, like, glass pots, so you couldn't touch the flame. But if you were to use a spell on them, you'd be able to like turn them on, off, change the color, stuff like that. They're kind of attached to the wall, and there's some like on the tables in between like these food and punch bowls and stuff. And the dwarfs are still holding their own. You've noticed two of the guards are now like laying on the ground bleeding pretty badly. The dwarfs still seem to be very good
Okay.
in fighting, and they're going at it pretty good.
Well, I would like to cause a little anarchy. So, what I'd like to do, again, if you allow me, because I have these 3 cantrips, so I would like to cause the ground to rumble again. Just the tremor.
Okay.
And then I would like to, flicker out the torches so it makes it as dark as possible.
All right.
I know there's still like the front door and like there's windows, but I want to make it noticeably darker.
It'd be dim light after
Right.
you do that. The entire area.
And then I'd like to use the first one, which is your voice booms up to 3 times as loud as it normally would for 1 minute. And I would like to shout, leave now or face your doom.
Okay, go ahead and do an intimidation check with advantage.
Okay. Okay. Oh man. Same thing twice. Alright, 16.
Okay, so the first thing you do is you start the tremors, and this all happens in like a 15-second period. It's like 5 seconds per each one, kind of.
Mhm.
So there's a little bit of delay in between them. So first the ground starts shaking, and some of the people audibly scream. You notice the dwarfs are fighting, and you notice one of the guards is caught off guard by the shaking and falls. And as he falls, you see the sword of the dwarf go straight through his head.
Oh,
This man is
jeez.
now dead. The dwarf's kind of shocked at what just happened, but they're mountain dwarfs, so they're used to tremors and shaking.
Right.
And they kind of shrug, like they keep fighting. Then your voice booms.
Or there's the lights too. The lights too.
Or yes, the lights first before the voice.
Mhm.
The lights kind of all the flames all at once kind of they like dim down. They're still barely lit, but they're not producing light anymore.
Mhm.
Sort of. So it gets kind of dark, but there's still some natural light coming in, and the sun's setting at this point, so it's like a twilight kind of
Mhm.
moment. So it's kind of eerie now. It's like an orange eeriness in the room, and the people are already kind of heading towards the door because there's guards dying and all this, and there's some real screams at like the scene where the man fell on the sword and died, obviously.
Yeah.
And then your voice booms out telling them to leave or face their doom. And people are just all running towards the door now and screaming.
And I maniacally
guards-
laugh. Yeah.
And the guards that are still alive at this point drop their weapons and run. They don't head for the main door, they head down like other hallways and stuff. And the dwarfs, the male dwarf, you know notice there's a female and a male.
Mhm.
The guy, he appears shaken. The female, not even remotely. She starts looking around the room. Do a stealth check.
Okay. It's a natural 1 again.
So unfortunately, she kind of looks up and sees you, and she's got this angry look on her face. But at the same time, she kind of looks around at the dead body, and you can tell they're kind of tired of fighting. So the fight might have started turning tides if what you had done hadn't happened.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of respectfully nods at you.
I do one of those like kind of graceful bows.
And then the other guy doesn't seem to see you. He's more panicked and looking around.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of puts her hand on his shoulder, and they turn around and they head through a door that was pretty much directly behind them and open it. And as they open it, a lot of light comes in. It's now like normal visibility
Mm-hmm.
from in that area. You're still in the darkness and all that, but where they're at's pretty bright. And you can tell the room they just entered has quite a bit of wealth in it. There's probably a lot of money in there and whatnot. And as they turn around and the light kind of hits them, this is the first time you've actually gotten a good glance at them. And you see the same symbol you saw on the inn, the Red Ivy Inn.
Right.
And you recognize that they are thieves with the Thieves Guild. And they kind of disappear into there, and you can hear coins clinking around in there, clearly filling their pockets and bags they have with them.
Okay.
They don't seem interested in anything else that's going on, because they realize you helped them out there, or if you weren't helping them out, you weren't harming them,
Right.
at least. Especially with the bow that went down.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
I would just like to kind of head down towards the basement then, and just pursue after my target.
Alright, so you make your way to the door, you kind of have your hand on the doorknob, you open it, nothing happens. You're glad. You could have been enchanted because you saw there who had closed the door and were worried a little bit. But you head down and it's dimly lit, just like a couple candles on the wall here or there. And you're sneaking through, you hear some people talking, they sound like they're talking about some kind of food in common, so they're probably just servants or cooks. And then off to your right, you kind of shudder. Your blood kind of runs cold for a second because there's like a door, and you hear like someone scream behind the door. But
Mhm.
it's like a very faint scream, so it sounds like it's far away. What would you like to do?
Probably I assume by the time that by the time I get down there, I dispel my cantrips on the way out.
Okay.
I want to kind of go and sneak to the door where I heard the scream at, and
Okay.
try and see if I hear anything on the other side besides the scream.
So you kind of get closer to the door. The people talking about food kind of get quieter. You don't really know what they're saying anymore. So you kind of sit there and listen. You kind of have your ear up kind of close to the door, not against it, but close. And you can make out what sounds almost like chanting. And it's infernal, but it's so quiet you can't tell what they're saying.
Okay. I would like to try and check the door to see if it's unlocked or locked.
Unfortunately, the door is locked this time.
Alright, I would like to take out my thieves' tools and try to open those.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Are you kidding me? It's another natural one. Oh my gosh!
Alright, so you go to unlock the door, and as you get your tools ready, you try to put it like in the keyhole like you would normally pick a lock, and it doesn't go in. There's some sort of magical barrier there. So you try again, nothing happens, and then you realize that the door is magically locked.
Okay. Damn. I can't use my cantrip because it has to be unlocked to slam it open. Dang it. Let's see. Is there any other doors down here, or is this like the only place it really leads to?
There's a hallway that leads to where the cooks are talking, and then there's another hallway that goes straight down. But from what you could tell, it curves back away from the way the door's going. So this door appears to be the only way to go to where that whatever's going on behind it is
Right.
going on. Would you like to do an Arcana check?
I would, because I'm trying to figure out if my target would be down here, or if he would have been somewhere else.
From what you could tell at this house and this basement, you know they came down here. This would probably be the most secure area of the house. So he's probably down here after that fright he just witnessed.
Okay. Well, I'll roll Arcana, see if I know anything. That's 8.
So you are familiar with stories of people magically sealing doors, and you sit there and think really hard for a few seconds about it, and you realize there's almost always something to unlock the door from the outside, just in case whoever casts the spell has locked themselves in. There would be a way to open it
Mm-hmm.
from the outside, but it's probably going to be pretty hidden.
Alright. Can I do a perception check to see if I can find it?
With this insight, you decide to look around. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. That's a 17.
Okay. So you look around, and you're looking around. You're looking for like maybe a loose brick, something on the floor, even like kind of like a hidden lever. And you notice all the candles are there's just like one on the right, then like 5 foot down the wall there's one on the left, then there's one on the right, and one on the left, and they go down all the way down like this. However, there seems to be a spot where there one on the left, and there's also one straight across from it, one on the right,
Mm-hmm.
and the one on the right shouldn't be there. So you kind of go up to that. It's about 5 foot away from the door that's locked. What would you like to do?
Uh, I'd like to check it for traps.
Alright, so, you don't have to roll anything for this, because looking at it, it looks like it'd be too small to be trapped, and the thing you've noticed is the flame isn't lit on this particular candle.
Okay. I would like to use my thaumaturgy to try and light it.
Alright, as you light it, it becomes a green fire instead of a red fire like the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And, are you standing by the door as you do this, or have you moved down the hallway closer to it?
I'll just do it like from where like I'm standing next to. Man, can I do that from a distance? I guess I could.
Yeah, you'd be able to.
So I would stand next to the door, crossbow still in my hands, and I would do it from a distance and kind of dispel it or put
Okay.
the thing on.
You see it. It turns green for a brief second, and then immediately goes back out. Kind of unsuspecting that would happen. Like you figured it would stay lit because you've done this a few times, and it should stay lit for like at least a minute. But as you notice it goes out, you hear like a whoosh, just like, and you kind of like glance back over at the door, and what would you like to do?
I would like to use my. So I'd like to. Is it a? Can I tell if it's a goes inward door or like opens out to me?
You would have to pull it outwards towards you.
Okay, so I would like to back up, take a position, and then use my cantrip to try and slam the door open to see if it's unlocked.
As you do so, you get almost like a sickening feeling in your stomach. But the door does slowly open, but there is some sort of magical resistance as it opens. And it kind of slowly opens and gives you an opportunity to step in. What would you like to do?
Oh, do I see anything in the open doorway?
You see a stairway leading down, and it's a fairly steep stairway. But the chanting has become slightly louder, and they appear to be in some sort of ritual.
Okay. I'd like to stealthily walk down, crossbow in hand, and
Alright.
try and see. I'm like, I don't even care
Yeah, this is
what this
good.
like cult is. I just want to find the guy, kill him, and get out. Like, he's like, he's not even like spooked. He's like, I had my chance. I'm upset, but I just need to get the job done.
Alright. So you head on down, and as you enter the door, it kind of slowly closes behind you. And as it closes behind you, you hear the. You feel like you're now locked in, if you had to guess. So that kind of gives you an uneasy feeling, but you're focused on the hunt. So you head down. And the staircase goes down pretty deep. You're kind of shocked. It's like a 50-foot staircase, which is already weird because you're already in the basement. So this goes down pretty deep, and as you go down, the chanting gets a little bit louder. And they're just saying fire, 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 and infernal over and over and over again. They just keep saying the word fire. And you sneak down, and as you come down there, there is a figure draped across the table with their arms like tied above their head, like they're laying sideways from where you're at on their back, and they're like laying long ways sideways, like they were taking a sleep. And there are four cultists with their back to you, and you can make a perception check.
Okay. 11.
While you can't see what they are, you can assume based off their size and what you'd seen earlier, they're all the Rakasha cat people.
Okay.
And then, with his back to you on an altar kind of behind it, you can see your target standing there. And this would be a very easy shot. It's about a 50-foot room. You look around, you see the bodies there, and there's some sort of portal in front of him. And in the far corners from where you're at, there seems to be these pillars of lava, like pouring down, and like they're pouring down. They almost seem to serve a purpose more of a lighting thing than actual heat, the way they are, because they're not particularly big, but they do cast a fair amount of light, and it is made of magma, and you can see pretty good down here, and the cultists all have their back to you, and then do a stealth check for me
Okay.
with advantage.
Oh. That's still not good. Yeah. Alright, that's 11.
So they're chanting, they're into it. Your target kind of has his arms out to his sides with his back to you, and his head's kind of like jerking, like not jerking, I guess, more like twitching, kind of like he's being possessed,
Yeah.
almost. And as you're looking at this, you suddenly notice there are two figures standing on each side of the portal, and their heads kind of like turned more towards where you're standing on this like elevated walkway, because the way the room is, it's like a pit carved out.
Right.
Like you've come down and there's a platform, then there's like a walkway around the whole room,
Mm-hmm.
like a stone ledge sort of thing, and then they're like in an even lower pit from where you're at. And these things are by the portal. You notice now, because they're kind of standing behind it, and the portal's relatively bright, so you didn't see them at first, but they're cultists as well. And they kind of like both glance at you, but they don't seem to take notice of you. And then they kind of go back to looking at the cultists.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you like to do?
Okay. Okay. So they're just saying fire, right?
Yeah, they're just chanting fire.
Is there any fire in here? I mean, there's the lava, but is there any torches or any fire pits or anything like that?
No, it is only the lava.
Dang it.
You do see some metal cages, and the doors do appear to be ajar on them, which would grant you they're probably not locked.
Is there anything in the cages?
It doesn't appear to be. These cages appear to be something that they would hold whoever's on the table when they're not down there, and he would be unable to get out of the cage, probably, from what you can guess. And there's like 3 or 4 of them along the wall on each side of the room. Some of them do appear to be closed, but the majority of them, the doors are ajar, and that's about all you can tell.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to take a gamble. Alright. Cantrip time. Alright. So, Let me look at my stuff. I would like to. Um, let's see. I would like to use the tremor first.
Okay.
Uh, and then do an ominous whisper or instantaneous sound that originates from a point of your choice. I'm gonna do an ominous whisper from the portal,
Okay.
and then thirdly, I would like to do the 3 times normal voice.
And what are you gonna say?
I would say in Infernal. I'd say, oh, what was his name? Was it Felhart? Is that the
It's Falheart.
Felhart? I would just say, Felhart, you have been deemed unworthy. And then I would say that, uh, and I would say, dispose of him, and wait to see what happens.
Do a persuasion check.
Could I do deception? Okay, but I'm better in deception. Since
Okay, yeah, roll deception.
okay. Do I get any advantage with all the spooky stuff going on? Any of that? Any of that?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty good. That's 21.
Okay, so the ground starts to shake. The cultists don't seem to be interfered at all by this.
Mhm.
So what did you do from the portal? An ominous whisper?
An ominous whisper.
The cultists by the portal seem to like both take notice of this. The other ones don't. The body keeps the Felhart's head keeps twitching around. Doesn't seem to do anything. Then when you say your line, the portal kind of shimmers, and no one really seems to be phased by it. They seem to be like they don't seem to be noticing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize the chanting stopped, the twitching stopped, and everything's frozen. Like time has frozen down there. You're still able to move and whatnot, but they are frozen. Then the portal, you see a face start to appear, and it's like a figure's kind of walking towards it, like towards the face. Like the face is floating there first, then like lagging behind it, the body kind of appears, and you see, this rotten figure, and its yellow eyes are staring directly at you from the portal, and it says, "I like your style." And then, kind of like, as soon as it says that, it disappears. Snap. Everything starts going back to normal. The cultists all stop. The man laying on the table screams out as something seems to be coming out of his body. The two by the portal grab your target, like by each arm, as he like he starts to fall to his knees. They grab him, and you're kind of just like still baffled at what you just saw, and you kind of like glance down at the only movement in the room at this point, which is whatever's coming out of the body, and you recognize instantly that it is a bone devil, and it is literally taking over whoever this is on the table's skeleton, and is taking their skeleton to materialize. And it stands up and kind of like shakes itself off, and like you can see, at first glance it almost looks like it's nothing but bone, but then you can see it has like skin very taut over the bones, and all the cultists now drop to one knee, and this is clearly what they were trying to do, was summon something. And in the same voice that you said he's not worthy in, it says, "I will now consume you, Felheart." And its tail whips around and stabs straight through him, lifting him up off the ground. And the cultists kind of like are shocked at this, but they stay kneeling in respect of it. And you get the feeling that Fellhart is now dead. His
Okay.
body's limp, and at the end of this tale, what would you like to do?
Uh, so I look at this. I understand the infernal, and I have a respect for it. I know that there are things that you really should not try to take on, especially on your own. Um, and I would like to slowly and stealthily try to walk up the stairs and just try to GTFO.
So as you try to back away, you hear, sort of telepathically it seems, "Not so fast. I need your services." And um, you get this odd feeling, and you're kind of paralyzed, like you can't move. The the bone devil kind of spins around and looks directly at you and points at you. As it does, all the cultists kind of spin around and turn towards you. Go ahead and roll for initiative.
Ah, shit. Alright. Oh, that's good. That's going to be a 17.
Alright. Alright, so you're gonna go first. Alright, so let me write this all down. So, you realize you're in some trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are 6 cultists and a bone devil.
Yep.
And you're not really one for this kind of fight. You're more or less, I should have shot an arrow at him and killed him before this kind of thought in your head. But what's done is done. And what would you like to do?
Uh,
And before you move, you sort of notice like the paralyzing effect is kind of gone, but like you had already backed up to the door,
Mhm.
but there's some sort of force keeping you from going through the door. It's kind of like pushing you back into the room.
uh, um, is it like, what kind of thing is it? Like, is it just a feeling, or is it like I can go?
It's a magical presence forcing you to go back in the room. And like you feel like if you were to try to resist it, it would not let you through the door.
Okay. Well, I am not at all experienced in this kind of thing. Alright, what kind of do the cultists have any weapons, or...
From what you can tell, you don't see any large weapons on them, but there's probably a good chance they have daggers.
Okay. And how far away am I from them? I know you said that there's a whole walkway that they would have to get up and stairs.
They would have to go up probably 20 foot of stairs, which would be rough terrain for
Mhm.
them. And they're probably about 30 foot away from that. And then the Bone Devil's probably about 50 foot away, and then the other 2 cultists are about 60 foot away. And
Okay.
before you do anything else, the Bone Devil, you now realize the Bone Devil is the one telepathically talking to you. And
Alright.
it just says, "Help me slay them."
Oh! Okay. This is different. Okay, this I thought it was him saying, "Hey, these cultists." So he wants me to help kill the cultists.
Yes.
Oh, and so I kind of like stop, like I go to turn, and he says, "Help me slay them." And I just say, "Well, why didn't you say so?" And I go and I take a shot at the closest cultist to me.
Alright, so they're pretty much in a straight line below you, like kind of like a side to side, like left to right.
Yep.
And so would you like to start on the right or the left? The
Uh,
stairways, there's 2 stairways. There's one on your right and your left. So either way, they'd be able to get up the stairs to get closer to you.
I'll take the one that's closest to me.
On the right or the left?
Um, I'll
Like
go.
dead center.
I'll go on the right.
All right.
All right, I guess
So-
I'll go and take a shot. That's not good. That's a freaking 6.
Okay. So unfortunately, that doesn't hit.
No.
Um.
And then I just bonus action to reload and then back away. Like I have back away as far as I can from them.
Okay. So, you back away. You can't really back away because that'd be the door. You
Right.
can't go that way. So you kind of go over to your left,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd be closer to the people on the left, but the people on the right are pretty far away from you now comparatively.
Okay.
And let's see, the Bone Devil's turn. He kind of turns his back to the portal and heads straight towards the staircase that you were closest to, and stops right at the bottom of the staircase. He hasn't done anything. That's all he did. He made that movement. All right, now it's the coldest turn. So the two closest to you, one of them sticks out his hand at you, and you see lightning form up in his hand, and lightning bolt flies towards you. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. That's not as good as I would hope. That's 11.
So the electricity, you kind of see it coming, and you kind of like, it's like shift your shoulder back like to avoid it, and it just shoots right past you into the wall.
Oh.
The other cultist, the one next to him, he'd be the second closest to you, also shoots lightning at you.
Okay. You
Go
want
ahead
me
and
to...
make another saving throw.
That's better. Okay. Now I see it coming. I do a 15.
Alright, so this time it shoots at you, misses horribly. Like, you don't even have to really avoid it. It's just like, he would have missed regardless. He's like, the other two head up the stairs, and one of them gets about 3/4 way up the right set of stairs, which is farther away from you, and the other one gets about halfway up the stairs. The fifth and the sixth one run up behind the Bone Devil, or they get about to the middle of the room and stop. One of them casts both his hands out towards you. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It's an 8.
Luckily, you only needed to roll 7.
Oh.
So a cloud of smoke forms around you, as like he was trying to choke you with smoke or something, but
Mhm.
it's not particularly thick, and like since you're standing in it, you can see their outlines from the lighting of the lava pretty well. And the last cultist doesn't do anything. He kind of just sits there, and
He waits.
he kind of just looks at his team, or looks at his friends, and kind of shakes his head like, "Come on, guys." All right, it is your turn again.
Okay. So I guess. Okay. So I'll take my crossbow and aim it at. Which ones are the?
The two down low, or there's 4 of them down low.
Right.
2 of them are kind of like
At the base.
35 foot away back.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them are about 25 foot back, close to the base of the stairs, but not right there yet. And then 2 of them are on the stairs farthest from you, coming up.
All right. I'll take a shot at the ones on the left. The ones that were casting spells at me.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot at one of those.
Right.
Alright,
Go ahead
come
and
on.
roll.
There we go. That's better. That's 17.
That hits.
All right. Let me get my D10 here. Where'd you go? There we go. There we go. Yeah. That's 9 damage.
Okay. You hit the one closest to you.
On the left. Yeah.
Okay, so he takes 9 damage, and you see the arrow hit him. It hits him like right in the gut. It's a pretty brutal hit. He kind of cries out, like hisses as a cat, like as he gets hit,
Uh-huh.
and he kind of like lowers and drops to a knee and holds it, but he's still alive. You can tell he's in a lot of pain.
Okay. And then I'll take a bonus action to reload. And I'll move closer to them and further away from the guys who are like rushing the stairs.
Alright, so there's like a walkway around the entire thing. You're gonna head down the left side of the walkway. So now the people on the right stairs would have to come up run all the way down the road,
Yep.
and then make a turn to come after.
Yep.
So they're pretty far now. Okay, it's the Bone Devil's turn. Let's see, the staircases are about 10 foot apart, 15 foot reach. Alright, so there's the cat cultist that's about halfway up the stairs is caught off guard as the Bone Devil swings its spiked tail at him
Oh wow.
and is cleaved. Let's see, he gets hit and he is dead.
Oh,
It
jeez.
cuts him in half.
Awesome.
So the third cultist is now dead. As his body gets ripped in half, his torso rolls down the stairs. Let's see if his buddy makes the athletics check and doesn't fall down the stairs. He does. He sees the body, the legs coming down, and he kind of hops over the legs. Let's see if he makes it over the torso. He does. And then the torso kind of comes down behind the legs, and he jumps over that. And the Bone Devil turns and strikes the dude you've already hit,
Okay.
and does not hit him. As he swings, the cultist kind of ducks, seeing what just happened to his friend, and the Bone Devil kind of, and that's all he does.
Okay.
He moves closer to him actually, and then the cultist that is wounded uses his action to stand back up, or his movement to stand back up, and shoots a lightning bolt at the Bone Devil. Ooh, natural 20. So the lightning bolt hits the Bone Devil. Or no, that was a saving throw for the Bone Devil.
Yeah.
The lightning bolt hits the Bone Devil, and it kind of just looks down where it hit it, and then back up at him, and laughs. And
Oh jeez.
at this point, he becomes frightened, and he's just staring intently at this thing. His friend also rolls, or tries to shoot a lightning bolt. Doesn't make the saving throw, and it takes 2 points of damage. And then the fifth and the sixth also shoot at him. Doesn't make that one. Ooh, natural 1. So he takes 6, 8,
Jeez.
14.
How many points of damage?
Takes 16 points of damage off that hit.
From which guy?
The two cultists.
Oh,
both
from
shot
both
at
of
the
them.
same time. So they like combine, like they both
Oh, okay.
put their arms out at the same time. One of them was a critical because he rolled on that one
hmm
for his saving throw. So I
Yeah.
criticaled it.
Okay.
The Bone Devil, you see it get hit several times, but it doesn't look like it's particularly hurt.
Right.
It just it's been hit, and it's just kind of like the dude on the stairs continues to head up the stairs to get out of the reach of its tail, turns and throws a dagger. Fell off. Throws a dagger at you. Does a 4 hit you?
A 4? Nah. It does not.
So you're sitting there like a dagger kind of flies across the room and like hits the wall behind you and like kind of bounces and lands at your feet. And he kind of curses in Inferno. He's like, "Fuck!" And it is now your turn.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to. So there's the 2 casting cultists that are near me, right?
Yes.
And it's shot
One of
one.
them is wounded. The other one's not.
I'd like to. I'd like to shoot the one that I've already shot.
Okay. Go ahead and roll, and you have advantage on this one because he's frightened, and it's not even remotely looking at you.
Okay. That's a 20, not naturally. And that's a natural 20. There we go.
Alright. So, how do you want to do this?
Alright.
He's got 1 HP left, so he's dead.
Yeah, I would just like to just kind of nail him right in the head, just right in the temples, go in one side and come out the other.
So, you level up, fire. It enters like the top of his head through his ear and comes out. And it's hard to tell because you wouldn't be able to see where it came out, but you could, judging by what they look like, it probably came out of his eye socket.
Oh, jeez.
And his body drops to the ground.
Awesome.
He is now dead.
How far away am I from the other cultist?
The one that's coming after you still.
Or no, the other one that there's a pair of like.
So the pair of them's probably about 20 foot away from you. The
Okay.
one next to the dude you just killed is probably 25 foot, and then the other one's about 30 foot.
Okay. I would like to get. I would like to use my bonus action to sheath my crossbow for the moment and draw my scimitars, my dual scimitars, and I would like to rush up to the other cultist, like the one that was next to the frightened one.
Okay, so make a acrobatics check for me,
Okay.
because you're up. You have to drop down to where they're at.
Oh, I thought it was a staircase.
Well, there is a staircase, but if you were to run, I was just
Oh,
stuck in like
yeah,
a straight line.
yeah. Oh, I don't have to straight line it. I was just going to like start running in his direction.
They'd probably be about 45 foot from you.
Okay,
But if you do the
that's fine.
do the acrobatics check first.
I would rather just run down the stairs and just kind of go that way. I thought
What'd you
that
roll?
I rolled a 1, but I thought that he was like on. I thought it was like 2 sets of stairs. I didn't have to jump down. I thought it was like a if you take a like a T. I thought like I started off in the middle of the T, and then there's like 2 sides coming up, and I was going towards one side of the T. I didn't then. I thought, yeah, it's hard to do without a map. That's one thing. The difficult things of doing it online.
I'll go ahead and say you kind of like shimmy off where you're at, and
Okay.
you land on the staircase, so you don't have to run all the way around to the front of the staircase, because that'd only be like a knee-high drop. So you wouldn't an acrobatics check, and you run up pretty much right up on them.
Okay, and that's the end of my turn.
You'd be within range to strike him.
Okay.
All right, so it is the Bone Devil's turn. He turns to the 2 cultists towards the middle of the room and swings with his tail at him. One of them again. And that hits. Let's see damage. He hits him and kind of pierces his shoulder. You see the tail coming out on the other side. Then he pulls the tail back out, and this cultist looks pretty bad. Like, really bad. He's bleeding out, and he's laying on the ground. He's kind of falling forward, and he stands back up, and he's kind of sitting there. He doesn't want to die like this. He's fighting for his life now. All
Gotcha.
right. The Bone Devil doesn't take another swing at him, but swings at his friend instead, and just does a claw attack. Natural 20.
Oh yeah, Bone Devils.
That's 4 points. 8, 13. So he swings at this guy, and he looks pretty fucked up too. Not as bad as his friend, but he's pretty bad. And then he kind of starts walking back up, like kind of flanks around them, and is now standing behind them. It is now their turn. Let's see here. The cultist he cleaved bleeds to death right there. Just falls in his face
Jeez.
dead.
Was that like bleed damage or?
Yeah, I gave it bleed damage because it pierced him. It did so much damage out of his health.
Gotcha.
And then the other cultist, let me think here. The other cultist kind of turns and comes after you. And as he comes into range of you, you get a swing at him.
I do.
Yeah, you get a reaction on him.
Okay.
Because he's running into you from across the room.
Okay.
And he's kind of running towards you with his hand out, so you're not sure what he's trying to do. So go ahead and swing at him.
All right. I'll swing with my sword. That is what's my plus to hit? That's a 14.
That hits.
Oh,
Roll
okay.
damage.
All right, so that's a D6 plus 2. That's 4 damage.
You swing, and as he's running towards you, he kind of tries to duck, and you hear like a and his head just comes off his body and he falls to the ground.
Okay. Awesome.
The other cultist that is downstairs,
Mhm.
next to the one you shot and killed,
The one that I'm like right next to, pretty much.
the one that you're right next to, reaches his hand out and pushes his hand on you. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez. I'm not good with these. Nah, it's a 7.
Unfortunately, that's what he needs.
Alright. Jeez.
They roll damage. So he does 8 points of damage.
Ooh, lordy loo. I am at 1 hit point.
Yeah, he just tried to do a sacrifice spell on you, which if you die, you're if you go to 0, you die.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's pretty much their biggest thing. The one on the top of the stairs looks at you, sees that you're not in very good shape, and tries to shoot a lightning bolt at you.
Jeez.
Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw with advantage.
With advantage? Because there's people in the way?
Yes.
Okay. Still not good. That's 9.
So you're fine. The electricity bolt kind of like you see it coming towards you,
Mhm.
and you kind of close your eyes like, oh no, this is it, and then it hits his friend instead of you.
Oh, jeez. Like close quarters combat.
Yeah. And he will take damage from that. He takes 4 points of damage. Alright. And that is the end of their turn. It is now your turn.
Okay. Would a bonus action be to pop a potion?
You could do that if you wanted.
Okay.
That would be a bonus action.
Well, I'll swing at this guy first. So I'll try and swing with my sword. That, oh my gosh. Like, I went from being awesome at the beginning to being just shite at the end.
You got advantage because the Bone Devil's still close.
Oh, so yeah,
So
because
it's
he's flanked. Okay, because that was a 2. That's fair. That's a 19.
That hits.
Okay, so this is my scimitar. So that's 4 points of damage.
Alright. And as you hit him, he's still looking pretty good in there.
Jeez.
He's definitely showing signs of fatigue, and he's bleeding pretty good, but he's still doing better than some of the other people you've seen get hit down there.
Okay, so I would like to move around him to stand next to the Bone Devil, like,
Okay.
and not try and cause attack of opportunity, and then I would do that health potion.
Alright. The minor health potion, you have
It's a
2 of them, I believe.
I think I just bought 1.
You only bought 1.
Yeah.
So it's a D4 plus 2.
Okay. Of course, that's only 1. So I got 3 hit points, so I'm at 4.
Okay.
Man, my dice are
There's the bone.
failing me all of a sudden.
The Bone Devil's turn. He's gonna claw attack the guy right next to you. Alright, good, because he rolled a natural 1 in the first roll, but since he was flanking,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give him a flank bonus.
he just barely hits, and the claw attack is... Jeez, this thing does a lot of damage. Okay, so he claw attacks it, and he kind of does like an uppercut, and as he does, you see like 3 slices come out of the cultist, and he topples backwards.
Jeez.
And the Bone Devil climbs up the stairs and swings its tail at the other guy and misses.
So all the spellcasters are gone now, right?
There's one dude who can spellcast right now.
And there's 2 total
But the Bone
cultists left.
Devil's- No, there's only one cultist.
Oh, there's only one
so
left
no,
at
he
all.
just killed-
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. This is the cultist turn. Cultist, realizing his friends are dead, tries to run, and as he does, the Bone Devil takes a claw swing at him
An attack of opportunity.
and misses.
Oh damn.
However, the
Does-
cultist turns and fires a lightning bolt at the Bone Devil. Let's see if he makes a saving throw. He does not. The Bone Devil takes 1 damage.
Alright. Poor Bone Devil.
Alright, it is your turn.
Okay. I'd like to bonus action to sheath swords and pull out the crossbow.
Alright.
And then I would like to take a shot at the guy as he's like stopped a turn to cast the magic missile.
Okay, you have advantage because he is facing away from you right now.
Okay. So that would be a 12. That's better. That's 23.
Both of those hit. Alright, full damage.
Alright, so let's see. Alright. So that would be 7 points of damage.
Alright. He's looking pretty rough.
And then and then I would just kind of you said there's like an altar or something, right?
Yes.
Can I move behind that and like hunker down like Gears of War style? like have chest high wall?
Cover, I'd say.
Yeah.
So you do that?
Yeah.
Alright, it is the Bone Devil's turn. The Bone Devil tries to grapple with moves forward and tries to grapple the cultist. 10. Cultist rolled a natural 1. So the Bone Devil grabs the cultist's head with one claw, then its tail wraps around his legs, and he kind of flings him around the room, facing you, and has him dangling. Alright? And that ends his turn. He kind of laughs sinisterly. The cultist rolls another 1. Wow, 2 1s in a row. He does not break free. It is now your turn. He is dangling in the air above you. You have advantage on him if you were to shoot at him.
I would like to take the shot.
Alright.
Alright. That's 7. There we go, that's better. That's 22.
22 hits.
Alright.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, that's 11 damage.
So, how would you like to do this?
Okay. So is he like moving him? Like is he flailing him around or just like holding him in place?
He's just holding him completely in place still for you.
Okay. I would probably just try and well, he's a bone devil, right?
Right.
So he probably wants to keep the bones intact. So I'll probably just shoot him in the heart.
Alright. Arrow comes out, right in the dude's heart. Instantly, he's kind of thrashing about, trying to get free, but as soon as that arrow hits, everything just goes limp and his arms are hanging down. You hear kind of like a sinister crackle, like, and you don't quite know what that was. And the Bone Devil kind of like stacks the bodies up and kind of turns towards you. What would you like to do? You are out of combat right now.
Seeing this Bone Devil and what he's done, I I take my crossbow and like I take the sling off and like I go to one knee and I put it on the ground. And like I just kneel and put like a similar to like what they did, but put like a hand to my right fist to my shoulder and just sit quietly.
Okay, he kind of ignores you as you hear the sickening sound of him ripping the bones out of their bodies.
Oh.
And he kind of just gets the skeletons collected, and it's pretty sickening each time he does it.
Mm-hmm.
He does it 8 times. One for each of the cultists, except for the one that got cut in half. That was 2 times. He had to get his bone legs and his torso and upper body. And then he also takes Fellheart's bones and kind of has them sitting there. And it turns towards you and kind of looks at you curiously. And it starts speaking in Infernal to you. You're lucky I have this feast, or you would be among them. I don't know if you're familiar with how summoning a devil works, but once they summon me, I have approximately 5 minutes of time I can resist them before I'm completely, like, pacified by them and have to listen to everything they tell me to. And you spared me of that, so for that, I will spare your life. And then, curiously, kind of turns its head towards you even more, kind of like a dog looking at something it's never seen before. Would you care to make a deal with me?
And I kind of just look at him. Uh, what kind of deal would you be proposing?
Oh, that would be up to you. And he kind of laughs. He's like, don't feel obligated though. If you don't want one, I won't force it upon you since you did just free me.
I kind of look at him, and being like accustomed to infernals, um, there. I'm trying to think of, is there a way that I could communicate him at a later time?
There, yeah, he would be able to telepathically talk to you pretty much anytime he wants to,
I would just say,
if you agree to.
um, may I have some time to consider?
He kind of looks. Its tail kind of whips around its body over to its face and kind of like looks like it's almost scratching his cheek. And he's like, "We can do that." And it kind of walks towards you and puts its arm on your shoulder. And for a brief second, you kind of feel like you're pulled out of your body,
Oh,
and then everything comes back to normal. And it's like it starts talking to you in your head now instead of like speaking.
mhm.
And it's like anytime you wish to communicate with me, you can via this method.
And I kind of just nod, and then I say, like, I'm presuming this is like as a player. I'm presuming I would have to speak out loud for him to hear me, or is it something I would do telepathically back to him?
You could telepathically speak back to him.
Okay. Well, in this case, I would speak verbally to him. I would say, "And what by what name do I call you?"
It kind of sits there for a second, and it's almost amused by the idea that it would have a name. Just because of what it is, it doesn't really understand names,
And
per se.
I guess like I see him doing that and say, "Do you want a name?"
And it kind of looks around for a second, and it just whispers, "Address me as Massacre."
I nod. And I just kind of
Alright.
stand there, like I
Um,
nod, and then I just kind of like stand there and like in awe of him, like I don't try
it
and do anything else.
it kind of realizes that you're like waiting for it to say something else, and it's like, "You're free to go. I owe you one favor." And then it kind of goes back to the skeletons, and it like picks up a leg bone and just like bites into it. This horrible crunching sound, and kind of like eats these bones. And you're pretty much free to go now. What would you like to do?
All right. So I would like. So there's tons of blood. I'm presuming.
Oh yeah.
Um, I would like to. Uh, as he like, as he's standing there, and like just amass all the blood. And I know that people will come down here and see what happened. Um, I go and I start to carve out of the grime and gore. Um, just a large eye.
So it'd be the symbol of the ebony.
Yeah, it's a
Oh
very
yeah.
large eye. Um, and then I kind of just like leave Felhart's like corpse in the middle of the eye, like right in the iris of the eye.
Very nice. The meaty paste that's left of him is there. It's pretty easy to tell it's him because it's the only tiefling down there,
Yeah,
and it is his color and whatnot because it is his body.
yeah.
So you do that, and what would you like to do now?
I would like to go. I would like to go upstairs and see if the dwarves are still there, or see if the guards are around, or see if the house is clear before just like just before walking out. I would still want to stealth up and see what's going on
Okay,
in the house.
make a stealth check with advantage.
Okay. Okay, so that would be a 12, and that would be a 18. I'll take the 18.
All right. So you go upstairs, and no guards anywhere. The conversation has stopped in the kitchen. They don't appear to be there anymore. However, you do hear two people arguing in Dwarvish from the treasure room. You witnessed them go in earlier.
I will head up to the treasure room then. Kind of stand in the doorway.
Um, Do just a regular stealth check.
Okay. Oh, I must have tripped on some of the gold that they were carrying. I got a natural 1.
Alright, so you come up, you're still being really sneaky and all this, and like soon as you enter the doorway where they can see you, the female dwarf instantly snaps her head towards you. And the other person kind of stops and looks at you kind of shocked because there was a lot of blood and stuff down there, and you made some symbols and stuff, so like you're from your knees down you got a lot of blood, your hands are kind of bloody right now. You're not particularly sprayed in blood, but there's definitely, they can see blood and they can smell death on you. The female kind of quizzically looks at you, like, and then in common says, "And where have you been?"
I kind of just look down and I say, "Dessert."
Kind of uneasily laughs at that, like, okay. She kind of oddly walks up to you and kind of puts her hand out and says, "My name is Vex Ironeye. I'm the leader of," and she kind of looks around, just out of habit, "the Thieves Guild in the town."
I take a bloody, gore-ridden hand. I just like gingerly take her hand and like shake it, like just one firm shake, and just say, "Perish."
Ah, Perish. Alright. I guess that's what we'll call you then. This over here is Split Anvil. He's Rock Anvil's brother. They're the Anvil clan and whatnot, but that's not important. They work for me. And he kind of defiantly puffs his chest out. She turns and looks at him, and like as she turns to look at him, he kind of like slinks back down again. And she's like, "I take it you want to share the gold then, since you got everyone out of here."
I would, yeah. I would, if you would mind sharing.
She kind of sits there for a second and like puts her finger up in the air and does some math, and she's like, 10% sound fair for you."
I look, kind of scratch my chin with like the blood and the gore, and I say, "Well, that's what the people downstairs offered me, not to get rid of them." And try to do an intimidation check.
Go ahead and roll.
Okay. That's a 12.
She kind of looks at you for a minute, and then kind of like points at the dead guards behind you, and she's like, "There are a lot more of them than you, and there's 2 of us still, so I feel pretty confident. I think 10% sounds pretty fair."
I kind of just like I blink my eyes, like I wasn't even like looking at her. I was like looking off in thought, and I was like, "Oh, my apologies. I meant no offense. 10% will be just fine."
She's like, "No offense taken, but you kind of helped me out here, so you know what? I'll give you 12%.
Oh, you're too kind.
From what I heard, this whole gathering was for some stupid Order of the Griffin, or I don't know, but competition to me. And looks like whatever you did downstairs was quite a bit more effective than what we had done, and whatnot." She kind of like looks back behind her at Splint and like kind of like nods her head at him, and he's kind of standing there. He's like, "Oh," and like starts counting gold out. And he's sitting there counting gold out, and she's like, "So, you made a good friend today with me. I'm feeling pretty generous. So maybe sometime if you ever need any help, I'm usually at the Red Ivy Inn if I'm not out doing something. So you can come talk to me there. Where would I be able to contact you at if I need to get a hold of you?"
I just like give her a look and I say, "I'll come to you, but not the other way around."
Well, that's what you want it to be. That's what you want it to be. I deal with all kinds of characters in this. All right, well, that seems good to me. And she kind of like looks over her shoulder, and Splint's kind of like not paying attention to counting anymore, and she kind of says, "If you don't hurry up, I'm going to give him your share too." kind of like his eyes get kind of big because he knows she's not joking, so he counts everything aside, and they hand you 320 gold.
All right. Okay. 320 gold. Oh, jeez. Math. Okay. So that's 611. Okay. So I take it and I put it in my bag.
And kind of nods and says, "Well, yeah, I told you if you need to find me where I'll be. I assume you'll be on your way before the real guards show up, because I assume by now the fake gods, or these little shitty guys over here that are laying here on the ground dead, have probably went and told on us by now. So we'll be leaving, and I assume you to do the same." And they kind of, gives you like a respectful nod and looks over at Splint, and he kind of packs up the gold and they take off.
Yep. I would like to go back upstairs the way I came and like go through the garden.
All right.
I guess I wouldn't even have to. Is the house empty?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I would like to just go through the garden then, and then like as I'm walking through, I would like to like dry my hands off on the leaves, like run my hands across the leaves of the garden and just leave like a blood trail. And then once I get to like the rim of the area, before I leave, I put on the orange, elegant, terrible looking outfit,
Very nice.
and then like walk out and just start like strolling back to the whorehouse.
All right. As you leave the grounds, make a stealth check.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's 23.
All right. So you're walking out of the manor, and you see the Storm Shield Guard in force, like 20 people marching in formation to this manor, and they kind of look at you and recognize what you're wearing and just don't even bother. They just keep marching, and they just kind of march into the building and disappear. And you're on your way to the whorehouse.
Yep, I'm on my way there to get the rest of my money.
The Red Pine Whorehouse.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, you just go straight there.
Yeah, I just go straight there.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. 20. Not naturally, but 20.
Okay, so you're walking along, and you kind of see the people you saw earlier in the gold and the blue and the gold armor and clothing.
Mm-hmm.
They're all sitting down, chained together, as two storm shield guards are standing over them. And as you walk by, you kind of casually hear the guards chuckling about some kind of fanatical cult or something. We intercepted one of their letters, and they're trying to infiltrate the city. And they're like, we're not quite sure where they're trying to infiltrate the city through, but these three right here are under arrest and whatnot. And they're like, if we see anyone else wearing this garb, they'll be under arrest too. And you kind of remember the letter you had, and you're like, man, I need to find someone who can read this in your head. And you make it to the Red Pine. It's not actually called the Red Pine Whorehouse. It's just called the Red Pine.
Right.
And you kind of step in. And a couple of people look at you quizzically because of what you're wearing, but they don't care because they're more entertained by the female entertainment of the building.
Right.
And you see your good friend sitting at the bar, or behind the bar, serving drinks. And he kind of sees you and kind of puts up a finger to tell you to wait, and then kind of like motions for you to go back in the same room you were in earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do?
Do I see Beth anywhere?
You do not.
Okay. I go up to. I guess I gotta go back to the current area where we were at before.
All right. As
I,
you enter, you see Beth sitting at the table there already,
okay.
and she kind of laughs when she sees you at first, is because the outfit's just completely ridiculous.
Hmm.
But after she laughs, she's like, "I take it you were successful."
And I kind of looked down. I was like, why else would I be wearing this ridiculous getup?
He chuckles again. Yeah, true that. Very true. Thank you for getting rid of him. I just want to personally thank you. She kind of like gets out this thing that's like wrapped in cloth and kind of opens it up, and inside it is a ring on like a twig, kind of like the branch is wearing the ring,
Okay.
and she kind of like slides it towards you on the table. What would you like to do?
What is this?
It's a personal thank you. It's a ring from my mother. It's magically enchanted. Um, I'm not entirely sure what she told me it was, uh, but I think you will find more use for it than I would.
Okay. So I take it. I thank her for it. Um,
Uh, would you like to inspect it?
yeah, I'll do a inspection, investigation.
Alright.
16.
Alright, so looking at it, you immediately recognize that it is an elven ring, a full-blooded elven ring, that adds +1 to dexterity when worn. And looking over it, you see it's really old, but other than that, it seems to be in working function. You can almost feel a magical essence running through it as you hold it.
Wow. I had to say it's beautiful.
She kind of almost blushes at that and thanks you again. She's like, "Oh, you'll definitely find more use for it than I would." And then your friend, what's his name? Demonis?
Demas.
Demas? Demas. Demas kind of walks in and sits down at the table, and he's like, "So, word spreads relatively quick, and they're not saying what happened, but they are saying it was something pretty horrible." And he hands you a bag of 200 gold. And he's like, "A little bonus because I like when things are messy."
Okay, just give him a grin.
And he's like, "Also, didn't hear anything about an assassin or anything like that, so they haven't made you. So that's also a plus." And he kind of slaps you on the shoulder, and as he does, he kind of freezes as his hand touches your shoulder, and he's like, "What's in your backpack?"
A lot of gold.
You know what I'm talking about. He kind of looks at you, more stern this time.
Okay, just, I say, a little trinket I found. You said I could have whatever I wanted whenever I went in and get what I wanted. I found something that I wanted.
Can I see it?
I gotta look at him and then look to Beth and look back to him and say, another time perhaps.
He's kind of like, "I've always been there for you. It's yours. I'm not going to take it. I would just like to know what it is." And he kind of looks over her and he's like, "Don't worry about her. She will be no trouble."
Alright, I kind of take it out. I make sure I'm holding it in the cloth. Like, I'm not handing it to him, I'm just holding it so you can see it.
And he kind of sits there and like, kind of lost in awe at it. Beth is kind of like sitting there staring at it, like she just got this like almost childish, like amused look on her face, like something. She's very happy, and he kind of he flips the cloth back over it, obviously not trying to take it from you, just kind of hiding it from
Mhm.
sight. And he's like, "You're a very lucky man to have found one of those." And he's like, "You're very lucky that I'm your good friend, or we might be fighting for that if otherwise. And he's like, do you know what that is?
I know it's very valuable. I know that it has special properties.
Oh, it is very, very valuable. And I'm not talking about gold. I'm talking about, and it's what it does. He's like, I wouldn't sell that if I were you, but it is yours to do with what you wish. And he kind of turns and he's like, good job on the contract. The order of the Griffin would definitely be upset about what's went down here, and from what I've seen, they won't be any the wiser of Eben I. And he kind of nods at you respectfully and walks out. Beth kind of slides out and follows him.
As she goes to slide out, I kind of grab her by the wrist. And I just say, I kind of just like run a thumb across my lip, and then I just say, how much is one of your nightly events?
She kind of blushes and smiles at this, and she's like, um, I, and she kind of like stammers, kind of caught off guard by that.
And as she's like staring, I was like, it's not what you think.
And, she's like, probably like 50 gold pieces. She kind of says, looking down.
So I take out 100 gold, and I slide it to her.
She kind of tries to give it back to you, like, no,
I was like, no, I just like I hold my hand up, and then I take out the scroll. And I say, I notice that you're of elven kind, half elf at least. Can you read this?
She kind of takes it from you and looks at it, and sits there and stares at it for a little while. And she can read it, but she's taking her time. It's been a long time since she's had to read
Right.
anything or even speak in Elvish. So she kind of sits there for a little while and goes through it. And then she kind of hands it back to you, and she's like, that's pretty serious implications if what that letter says is true.
And what does it say?
She kind of looks around. She's like, I don't know if I 100% translated it correctly, but for the most part, and I guess she says this, you hear this just super loud horn that goes on for like almost 5 solid seconds, and she kind of jumps startled by it. And she's like, well, speak of the devil, she says, grinning. What they said is the Iron Eagle is one of their next targets, and lucky for you, the Iron Eagle just showed up. And she's like, I'm not 100% sure it said that, but they said they do have agents on board the Iron Eagle, and they're trying to take over the captain, or trying to sway the captain into their graces. And from what it says in this letter, Felhart was to throw a party, and I don't know if I got this last part right, but summon some sort of infernal being to do their bidding to help take over the Iron Eagle. And she kind of like looks embarrassed, and she's like, that's all I really understood. And it said a lot of stuff about the Order of the Griffin, but it was just mainly just trying to take power of the Iron Eagle, and Falls Point would be the stepping stone for that, since it has the base for it to land at.
Okay, I nod, and I say, you're 1 in a million, and then I start walking away.
She kind of blushes and watches you walk away, and then kind of goes back into the main area to look for customers. What do you do now?
I think that's a long day for him. So he probably just goes up to get a room,
All right.
and
Would you
then
have to get a room here, or
yeah,
go somewhere else?
I'll get it here because I trust it here.
All right. So you kind of like walk up, like looking like you're gonna ask him, and you ask him for a room, and he kind of just like points upstairs to the first room at the top of the stairs. It's like, that's your room. It's I don't ever rent it out. It's for free. You can stay here anytime from. And hands you the key to the room, and turns back to his business bartending.
Yeah. And I go up there and make sure I'm alone, and then I grasp the stone without the cloth.
Without the cloth?
Without the cloth.
Alright, so as you do this, you get pulled kind of like you're floating above your body, and then like it kind of slowly zooms back into your body, and like to like where your hood is, it kind of like zooms in, and like you see like thread and fiber, and then you see this large dragon like creature, and you realize that it is a dragon, and you're not familiar with what it is, but you recognize it as a golden dragon, and it kind of speaks to you, and it says, "What is it that you wish?" And like it kind of echoes out as it says that, and then your options are to increase one of your ability scores by 2,
Mm-hmm.
2 of your ability scores by 1, or to pick a feat.
Okay. Let me look at feats real quick.
All right.
uh,
So, take your time.
yeah.
Like as you've been offered this gift, you kind of try to like look around, and like as you look around, you just see hundreds and hundreds of these stones, and they're all like floating in pillars, like above each other. None of them are touching. They're like magically floating like around, and like you see one that's brighter than the other ones, and you kind of realize whatever was in your hands kind of starts to disappear, and as that what's in your hands disappears, that one starts to form in and starts to look like the other ones. And you notice there's still quite a bit of them that are still missing.
Huh. Let's see. One second. Ooh. Let's see. Man, I'll have to think about that. I know I'll probably go with the feet. Oh, dang it, the stupid PDF froze up on me. Do you want me to pick right now, or I'll say I pick the feet and then pick after that?
You can do either or. We can wait to pick it because you're gonna be leveling up to level 3 too, so you might as well just wait, I guess, at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of respectfully say that I take the gift, which is like
Yeah,
the feet.
The dragon nods at you as the rest of the stone disappears, and you open your eyes and you're back in the room.
All right. And I kind of just like sit there and I lay back on the bed, and then I just sort of like rest off to sleep after a long day's work that weren't not exactly how I planned, but worked out way better than expected.
Yeah, no, I agree. Would you like to get onto the Iron Eagle when you wake up or anything?
I would say that. I
Because
probably
want
would.
to get docked until noon
I-
the day you wake up on.
Yeah, I would probably head to the Iron Eagle. I guess that's where everyone else will kind of meet up as well, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll head there in the morning after a long night's sleep.
All right. As you head there, you head there kind of early morning, or like I guess late morning actually. It'd probably be like 9, 10, and like you kind of look up and it's like it's strange because it's early morning, but it's almost pitch black out because the shadow from the Iron Eagle just massively over like almost the entire city, and you realize it's like the entire size of the inner part of the city and the port at least, might even be larger than that. And as you walk up to the tower, there's a short line of people buying tickets.
Mhm.
One of the guards I guess he'd be a guard, not like an actual like city guard or anything, but it's like one of the airship guards kind of looks at you, and he's like, "It's 50 gold for a ticket."
I give him the 50 gold.
He nods at you, and you go through like a doorway to a bunch of stairs, and go up a bunch of stairs. Takes quite a bit of while, but you finally make it to the top, and there's like a rope bridge almost sort of thing. It's quite sturdy. It's not like frail or anything. Leading over to the leading over and up to like the second level of the ship. And do a perception check.
Okay. 14. Oh, not 4. Sorry, 16.
As you're looking up at the ship, you've heard stories, but you've never actually seen it till now. You see a lot of siege weapons on like multiple levels of it, kind of like staggered together. So if they were to fire, they would probably be able to hit the same target. And you also notice there's some you've never seen them before. They look like human eagle, like a half human, half eagle, flying around. They have like the wings, but they're like their bodies, like their body and legs are like human, and then their head's like an eagle.
Huh.
And they're kind of flying around, and you notice that they're probably protectors of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also notice there's these massive engines. There's 3 on this side, so you can imagine there's probably 3 on the other side. And they're almost as tall as the entire ship is itself, which it's like 4 or 5 stories. So these engines are massive. And from where you're at, you can kind of tell there's like propeller blades inside of them that are kind of spinning at a slow pace, keeping it aloft.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of look over, and in between these, you see these large crystals, and they're like a very cyan blue, like almost painful to look at. They're like that. They're like a very neon cyan blue, and you can see kind of like the shimmer coming off of them. And if you had to guess, you would assume that those engines and those crystals are what keeps the ship aloft and whatnot. And you start to head across the bridge, and you kind of get to the ship, and they took your ticket before you got on the bridge. Actually,
Yeah.
it was weird to you that you had to even buy the ticket, but they let you across and whatnot, and you get across. Do another perception check.
Okay. 11.
So you kind of already walk past them, but you kind of look over your shoulder because you get that weird like familiar sensation, and you see the same thing you saw when that portal opened in the closet. You see an insect-like person, almost identical in appearance, except he's wearing a different set of armor. But you're kind of being hustled along now, and you couldn't. If you tried to turn around, they'd probably get upset with you and just disrupting traffic because there's a lot of people boarding right now.
Right.
And he's kind of standing off like in the opening of a shop, and like you just recognize that he might not be the same one, but looks almost identical. And that's where we'll end for now.
All right. Well, we'll ramp up the episode here, and then we'll start our little post-game talk. Thank you guys for listening. Had an awesome, fantastic time. Great job being first time DMing, ladies and gentlemen. He's a natural. He's great. It was hilarious and awesome. But we'll end up this video, and then we'll start up the next video of the post-game talk and talk about some of the choices and some of the things, and I'll probably level up my character while we're doing it.
And thank you guys for watching, and that was awesome.
Yeah, so feel free to check him out on Twitter and Twitch. It's I_no_way_I, correct?
Yes, that's my Twitch.
Alright, so that's his Twitch, his Twitter. Go check him out. He's a good streamer. He's an up-and-coming guy. As always, you can find me on here, on YouTube, or Forger Mass on Twitch and Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.